Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to OpenMicVO. My name's Graham Spicer, and so glad you're here. Happy Easter. I really don't know how many people to expect on our call tonight because it being the Easter holiday and all, but I thought that we would throw the webinar technology open and see who might want to drop by and say hello. Tonight, we're going to be talking about online casting. Although I think the crowd's going to be fairly small, so we can kind of be pretty loose with regards to the topics of questions. But let's talk a little bit about online casting, at least to get us started tonight. Just a couple of ground rules I want to go over with you. The first one is in just a moment or two, I'm going to start unmuting people. Once you see that you're unmuted, if you could please mute yourself. And to do that, you just press the little click on the little microphone icon in the lower left-hand corner of your Zoom screen, and that just clicking that icon will toggle you on and off. Certainly, you're more than welcome to unmute yourself and add to the conversation or ask a question. But if you're not actively participating in the conversation at that moment, if you could please mute yourself so we don't have any problems with background noise and feedback and echo and things like that. The second ground rule is please be nice. We have people from all stages of their voice acting careers that come on these Sunday night calls. And even if you've been considering voice acting for a week or if you've been in the business for 20 years, we're all professionals here. So let's make sure that we treat each other with the level of professional respect that we each deserve. And the third thing I want to mention is that I record these OpenMicVO sessions and post them to YouTube because sometimes people want to go back and have another listen, or there's people who wanted to participate tonight and weren't able to, and they want to be able to catch up later in the week. So keep that in mind that once I post the OpenMicVO to YouTube, I don't have much control over where it ends up. So just keep that in mind. So with that said, I'm going to start unmuting you one by one. Again, please feel free to get us started with the first comment or ask the first question. Tonight, we're going to be at least starting things off with online casting. But again, I'm anticipating a fairly small crowd tonight, so we can be pretty loose with regards to the topics that are going to be discussed, whatever it is that you have on your mind. So let me get things started here.
Good evening, Graham.
Hey,
happy
Jake.
Passover, happy Easter.
To you as well.
Thank you. I don't have a topic, but I will. I mean, I don't have too much to say, but I'm going to comment that there does seem to be quite a proliferation of new players jumping into the fray right now with the controversy over voices and their acquisition. Yeah, I've just seen some new discussion on the Facebook forums, and there are a lot of new players coming out of the woodwork.
Do you have any names that you can share with us?
Oh boy, I saw one yesterday. Was it mentioned? Was it VOPlanet? Was it?
Oh, there's a place called VOPlanet. Is that the one you're referring to?
That might have been it. I don't remember. Oh my goodness. I mean, of course, there's Voice Casting Hub, and there are a lot of small, little itty bitty players like Casting Call Club. I've seen, but those aren't real players. I wouldn't call them that.
Yeah,
but Voice Casting Hub is a real player.
Yeah, Voice Casting Hub definitely has the backing of some big agents. And,
yes.
And because of that, they're getting a fair amount of traction, I think. I know I just filled out my Voice Casting Hub profile last week. So, and that's because my Chicago agent, DeSanti Talent, was insistent that if I'm going to continue to get audition opportunities from her, I needed to have a profile there. So clearly, several of these agencies, Umberger Agency, DeSanti Talent, a couple of others are taking this voice casting hub site quite seriously. VOPlanet is interesting. It used to be quite a poorly run and disreputable casting site for many years, but I understand it's now under new management. There's someone new that's taken it over and is completely revamped it, and that's I'm hearing better things about it lately.
That's right. That's right. I can't recall his name, but yes, he's been very vocal and very public, and he is very reputable. I've seen a lot of positive feedback regarding Voice Casting Hub. Now that you mention it, I do have a profile there myself. Have you been able to post a photograph of yourself, an image?
Honestly, I can't remember if I tried or not. I went in and uploaded my demos and stuff again because Susie DeSantiago was insistent that I do so. But I can't remember if I tried to upload a profile picture. Did you have trouble when you were doing that?
I could find no access to do so.
Yeah,
I've tried everything I could think of, and I couldn't do it.
Yeah, I really don't. I really don't know. Is there anyone online with us tonight that has done their voice casting hub profile, and were you able to upload a picture?
Yeah, I did post a message on their Facebook group, so we'll see. Anybody?
I'm just making a couple notes here. I did get a question here in the Q&A box. Does anyone know of any pay-to-play sites that seem to have lots of animation or video game auditions? I certainly have noticed on both Voice123 and Voices.com that there's a fair amount of independent game developers. Like the big guys, to the best of my knowledge, aren't posting a lot of roles on online casting sites. Although I have heard of people landing major roles in very important video games as a result of an online casting. But I know many of the indie game developers are using online casting sites on a fairly regular basis, and I see quite a number. A dozen or more between Voices and Voice123, a dozen or more a week of animation and video game stuff. Also, there's quite a bit of call for character work in commercials. So even if you're not specifically, even if you do lots of character stuff and you're looking for animation and video game opportunities, don't overlook the opportunities that are available to you for commercials as well. Often commercials are looking for caricatures like of, an Irish person or a Scot or someone with a strong New York accent. And so you can have some fun there as well. Doesn't always have to be animation or video games in order to stretch your character muscles. Who else has got some questions for us tonight? Or anyone else have any comments on pay-to-play sites, online casting sites that have animation or video game opportunities? Questions, comments, online casting, or any topic? Because again, there's 25 of us online already. So there is, a number of us here. Who else has got questions? And it can be on pretty much any topic. It doesn't have to be about online casting. Sandra is asking, well, first of all, she mentions that she has completed her profile. JD, she did complete her profile on Voice Casting Hub, but did not have an opportunity to put up a photo. So maybe there's no, option to do that yet. Sandra's question is, anybody know of any reputable online casting sites outside of the US other than Bodalgo, which I think most of us are aware of at some level? Any other online casting sites? I know there's a couple in the UK, but I can't remember their names right off. Anybody have any feedback, any input on that?
Hey Graham, it's Craig.
Hello, Craig.
Hey, yeah, there's one called Voices. Is it voices.co.uk? They have an American branch as well, but there is one called voices.co.uk, I think.
And is that affiliated with voices.com? And
no, it is not. It is. It's run by a VO guy. Then his name escapes me at this moment in time, but he's very, very reputable, and they don't have a huge amount of work, but it is one that's out there.
Okay, so Voice.
I'm going to look it up to find out exactly what it's called, because I understand the confusion between Voices and voices.co.uk.
Okay, well, once you find it, maybe you could drop it into the chat box for us, and just make sure that you select to all panelists and attendees, not just all panelists.
Okay.
Everybody gets a chance to see your link. Thank you so much for that.
No problem.
Anybody else have anything outside of North America besides Bodalgo, which is based out of Germany and has a lot of European clients? Can you give more info on Voice Casting Hub? And I have to be honest, is that I don't know a lot about them yet, other than the fact that I had to create a profile there. I think that if it's the site that I'm thinking of, there was a representative, the owner of Voice Casting Hub. I believe it's his wife or some other significant person in his life. Maybe it's a sibling or something like that. Is a voice actor, and he just happened to be he happens to run a web development company, and he saw a need, given that voices.com had purchased voicebank.net, that there needed to be a new replacement for voicebank.net. And my understanding is that that's what Voice Casting Hub is about. But if there's anyone out there that is more knowledgeable than I on this, I would love to hear what you have to say. Craig got back to me and said that the website he was referring to is voicesuk.co.uk. And I'm just going to copy and paste it into the chat box here. Thanks so much for that, Craig. Anybody else have any information on Voice Casting Hub? Anyone here that is a member of Voice Casting Hub? Have you received any auditions from them yet? How does their process work? Anybody that can add any sort of info at all, I'd appreciate it.
Once again, Graham, I signed up for them about, I think it was when they first started coming out about 2 months ago. And my agent, Patrick Bosby in Houston, they said that they are going with them. But it seems kind of confusing because I haven't had any auditions or any real communication from my agent or from Voice Casting's Hub since I put my
Now,
profile up there.
I'm a little confused about it as well because, DeSanti Talent, said, please create a profile there. But I'm not sure what that does. I'm not sure if she's going to be sending me future audition opportunities somehow through that system, and I upload it back through the system. I don't quite understand what the process is yet. So, clearly you and I both have some homework to do, get a hold of our agents and find out what that process is. But perhaps there's someone with us online here that has a little more knowledge than you and I do about it.
Hi, Graham.
Hey, Sandra.
I've been on Voice Casting Hub for since its inception. And from what I see so far, it seems like with Voice Bank that agencies would go there to look for talent for auditions. And that's really been about my only experience. I haven't actually had any auditions come from there because they still come from my agents, but I've had an agent find me there for an audition. But as far as it goes, going there to get an audition, someone did post on Facebook a few days ago that maybe people might want, if you're listed there, you might want to go there just periodically to check to see if you have an audition. And there is a link there that for auditions, if there are open auditions there. But I've never had any. I've never gotten any from there.
Clearly, it's pretty confusing. So
yeah, I think they're still working the kinks out.
Yeah, so maybe I'll drop them a line tomorrow and just say, hey, we got 25 of us got together on a phone call, and none of us knew what the heck was going on. And
right.
If you need to communicate with us better, so you can understand how to support you.
Graham, can you hear me?
Hey there.
Okay, this is Katie again. I'm on the road now, but there is one thing I do recall I saw days ago from Voice Casting Hub. They have a community section that was not functional at the time, but they did say that today, being April Fool's Day, April 1st, to look for an announcement of some sort. So there will be some news coming out of Voice Casting Hub soon, or at least I anticipated by their own post.
Well, let's all keep our ears open and our eyes on our inboxes and on the Facebook groups, and hopefully we'll get some more information shortly, because I think there's a lot of us that would like to see Voice Casting Hub or some other platform get some traction and have some success at the expense of voices.com and the old voicebank.net. But no one, I mean, it's been, 8 months now since the acquisition, and there doesn't seem to be a lot of traction forming yet behind any one platform to replace voicebank.net. And I think that there are a number of the big agencies, the big LA agencies, that are posting stuff through voices.com. The big union jobs through voices.com, which I find very disheartening and very concerning. Question came in through the questions box with regards to, it's a technical question, it's a production question, and I know there's a couple of people here that are pretty good at production. Final mastering of a do-it-yourself demo, if you're going to do your own demo, and it's not something that I generally recommend, but sometimes people who have a body of work that they've created over the past year or two, maybe you're a former radio person and you've got a bunch of ads that you voiced when you were at the station and you're trying to put together a demo. When adding music to already processed voice track, does anyone have any suggestions on the whole mixing process? How do you add the music in a way that makes it sound like an actual finished production? Anybody have any thoughts on that? I know that there's some people here with some good production background, so. So the questions that are open and on the table right now, anyone have any suggestions for online casting sites that have a lot of animation or video game auditions? Second question that's still on the table, reputable online casting sites outside of the US. And the third question is, anyone have any production advice with regards to adding music to already processed voice tracks? Guidelines for mixdown processing. Gary's asking, anybody have any knowledge of this voice over agent alliance? Gary, that is the group of agencies, and it's kind of a smaller, a group of kind of mid-sized, smaller, non-union agencies primarily. They do union work as well, but a lot of them do a lot of non-union work. And these are that group of agencies that are trying to climb behind voicecastinghub.com. So members of the Voice Over Agent Alliance, Tada Voice Works in Toronto, Jeffrey Umberger Agency in Atlanta, DeSanti Talent in Chicago, and I know there's a couple of others as well. A Special Project is the name of an agency that's based out of Los Angeles, I believe. I believe they are members as well. So it's not an online casting site. It's not a, it's not a group that distributes auditions other than to their own talent, their own rosters, but they are behind the voicecastinghub.com site. TAG, the Atherton Group, is also with the Voiceover Agents Alliance. That's right, I'd forgotten about that. And that's Liz Atherton, and she's out of Los Angeles.
Thank you.
Oh,
I wasn't too sure about them, but I just thought I'd ask.
Yeah, you're welcome. No problem. Who else has got questions for us tonight? It can be about online casting sites or voices.com, voice123.com, ACX, Bodalgo, any of the online casting sites. Feel free to ask questions or offer any thoughts or opinions you have. I'm going to leave it pretty much open to any questions with regards to voiceover, your voiceover career. Let's throw them on the table and see who's got some thoughts.
I've got a quick question, Graham.
Hey, Greg.
Anybody who is on VOPlanet, the new site, well, not the new site, but the reconfigured site with the new guy at the head, has anybody seen any UK jobs on there? Obviously, with my accent, I usually tend to go for UK jobs. So I'm just wondering if it's worthwhile me spending the money and finding out, or if anybody has any experience.
Yeah, I was a member of VOPlanet 5 or 6 years ago, and then I quickly recognized that it was a bit of a scam, and I dropped it and haven't been back since. And I haven't gone and checked it out since the new guy took over. So I'm going to be curious and go and check it out myself. Anybody out there right now that has that is a member of VOPlanet and has any kind of feedback on it at all? I would think, Craig, it's going to be similar to the other kind of U.S.-based casting sites. Is that there is the occasional UK job that kind of trickles through, but on the U.S.-based or North American-based sites, there doesn't tend to be tons of work specifying a UK accent.
Well, you'd actually be surprised, Graham.
Really?
Yeah, Voices 123. I get a very steady stream of auditions through them, and I'm still a member of Voices.com as well, because my subscription hasn't finished yet, and I still get a heck of a lot from them as well. So there is quite a bit of UK stuff out there.
Ah, fantastic.
Greg, this is Steve. I was just looking at the latest on VOPlanet. For the most part, it's North American. Occasionally, you'll get North American Spanish. But I looked at the open and closed ones that are currently there, and there was no British.
That's great, Steve. Thanks for taking a look for us. I didn't realize you could actually get in and see the auditions without being a member.
No, I am a member.
Oh, okay, cool. Have you noticed a big difference in the quality or quantity of auditions since the revamp?
I didn't see it before, so I can't judge. I like the quality. They're name brand type things. There's not that many of them that appear, but when they do, they seem to be pretty good quality work. Small to medium companies, but regionals, occasionally New York, occasionally Texas, things like that, South. As well as some others. It seems like a lot of commercials and some regular narrations, some e-learning kind of things. Not a lot of other variety, although there's been a couple of telephony. What I thought was interesting is a lot of the time, no script was provided and they just want a, canned demo. Which is unlike others that I have seen in other sites. So.
It's like the old days when casting actually used to be done off of demos rather than insisting upon custom auditions all the time.
Yeah, it varies, but it seems more of those than any other site. Still more custom, but quite a few of the no script provided, just provide your best version of this kind of thing.
Very cool. Linda supplied some great info from Voice Casting Hub's Facebook page, which I am going to copy and paste into the chat box here. And basically, they're saying that they do not have jobs for talent without representation. You have to kind of be, you need to be able to add an agencies to your profile in order for you to show up, I guess. Unrepped talent can create a profile to showcase to agents and be front of mind. Since you have an agent, if you have an agent, the agent manages it and promotes it to the producers. Okay, I get it now. what I found though, when I went to complete my profile, is that I was unable. I went to the page where I'm supposed to link to the agencies that I'm represented by, and I wasn't able to do that. There was some sort of technical problem, or either that, or there was a serious kind of user interface problem, because I played with it for several minutes and couldn't figure out how to connect myself to particular agencies. So if anybody has any advice for me on how you went about doing that, I would love to hear it. Thanks for that, Linda. Much appreciated.
You're welcome, Graham. Sorry, I walked away for just a second and was listening on my computer, so I hope you can hear me.
Yes. Absolutely.
I think the site is a little bit difficult to use, and I'm sure he's still kind of working through that. So I agree with you. I went to look to see how to upload the agent information, and there really isn't any kind of a button or anything to add that. So I think he mentioned that your agent actually has to supply that information and has to include that and add that.
Okay, then I got to bug my agents then about
yes.
that I get linked.
It sounds that way.
That makes sense, actually, when you think about it. So, yeah, I'll be on the horn with my U.S. agents tomorrow about getting linked. Who else has got some questions for us tonight? It can be about online casting or any other topic with regards to voiceover. Remember, if you're new to the business, there's no such thing as a silly question. Go ahead and ask away.
Graham, I have a question then. In telephony VO, you listen to the Jonathan Tilleys and the Mark Scotts and others of the world and go local. And when you approach businesses for telephony, I've found that one's a hard one to crack, because they say, oh, we just do it in-house. We don't need anything more than that. Is it advisable to kind of do a sample to show them how much better it would be done professional? Or what's the best approach to that?
That's a good question. I do a lot of telephony work, but I work for a large European-based company that has a very kind of slick sales organization that is able to go out there and land these companies by the dozens. So I've never really made much effort to pick up local telephony clients, but it would seem to make sense that, as you say, every company gets Susie or Frankie, the receptionist, to record the voicemail and the IVR prompts and things like that. And I think that if you were to write a custom script and show them just what a proper greeting could sound like as compared to what they have now, it certainly couldn't hurt. The other thing is that many of these companies that are using VoIP technologies for their phone systems, and most companies, small, mid-sized companies are using VoIP, they have the capability of playing messages on hold and things like that, on hold marketing messages, and they probably aren't even aware of it, let alone utilizing it well. So I think one of the secrets for you is going to be not just demonstrating to them how much better a properly recorded and properly voiced greeting would be, but to explain to them the business advantages of using all of the opportunities that their telephone system offers them. and to write some great scripts. I mean, I think you have to be equal parts great voice actor and great writer in order to truly be successful in the IVR area. Does that make sense?
It does. Thank you.
Yeah. Who else has got some questions for us tonight? Any recommendations on coaches or classes teaching accents for actors? There is a great actor out of Los Angeles named PJ Oakland, and I have had the opportunity to speak to PJ on a couple of occasions, but I've also watched him work in a couple of seminars over the past couple of years, and the guy is magical. It's incredible what he is able to accomplish when it comes to teaching accents, dialects. So PJ Oakland, and let me type his name because it's spelled a little odd. PJ Oachlan. So PJ Oakland in Los Angeles. I see where Emily has recommended Eliza Jane Schneider, who I've heard of as well. I don't know Eliza Jane Schneider, but I've heard good things about her. And the website is dialectmasterclass.com. That's awesome. Thank you for that, Emily. Anybody else have any recommendations for coaches that are good in the specialization of accents and dialects? There's a coach out of Edge Studio. I'm just trying to remember his name. Give me a second. It'll take me a second to remember his name. James Andrews. That's his name. James Andrews. And he is awesome as well. He's actually a speech pathologist. He went to university and has a degree in speech pathology. So he is very, very good at accents and dialects and in teaching accents and dialects and accent reduction, if that's something you're looking for as well. So again, James Andrews at Edge Studio, and just look them up, edgestudio.com. We've got PJ Oakland that I mentioned, and Eliza Jane Schneider.
Graham, this is Trey.
Hey, Trey.
I wonder if you could ask everybody for me, Graham, and hi to you, if they've had experience with Bodalgo, what their experience was.
I'm a member of Bodalgo, and there aren't a ton of auditions, but the auditions that come through, I mean, when I say there's not a ton, like on Voice 123, I'll get 20, 25 auditions a day that suit my profile. On Bodalgo, I might get an average of 5 a week. But the jobs that you audition for on Bodalgo tend to be good jobs that offer a fair rate of pay. And the reason for that is that Armin Heistetter, who's the owner of Bodalgo, personally looks at and vets, he approves every job before it gets posted. And if he determines, based on his own judgment and experience, that a job isn't paying enough, he'll kick it back to the client and say, I won't post it unless you offer more. So Bodalgo, I mean, Armin has a wonderful reputation in the business. He has a very strong set of ethics and morals, and just don't have expectations of there being 10 auditions a day. You might get 5 a week, but they probably would be pretty decent auditions.
Do you find your booking rate with him is higher per audition than on other sites?
I have to confess that I don't audition that I'm a member of Bodalgo because I just feel it's important that I kind of keep my eye on things and stay informed as to what's going on. So, having a membership just from a research standpoint is important to me. but I haven't auditioned there for quite some time, so I really can't give you good advice. Anyone else here that's a member of Bodalgo that has any thoughts on booking ratios, booking rates?
Hi, Graham and everyone.
Hey, Sam.
I still have my, I was a paid member. I tried it for a month, but I've had my profile there for quite some time. I think it's a great site. I've met Armin, a great guy. But I have not booked anything with Bodalgo. I really don't get a lot of auditions there. I get maybe one a week, maybe one a week that's sent to me. But as you said, the jobs are definitely, the pay is much better than Voice 123. And it's quality work. It's good work. But other than that, no, I haven't booked anything. But I keep my profile there just in case I might want to restart or something. You know, just keep it out there.
You know, it's funny you mentioned that the rate that's being paid for jobs on Bodalgo is much better than Voice 123. Are you busy on Voice 123, Sandra? Like, you're checking in there quite often?
Yes, I am busy on Voice 123. I must admit.
Yeah. I've found over the past 6 months that the average value of jobs on Voice 123 has really been going up. I find a lot less of those $100 and $100 to $150 jobs, and a lot more jobs in that sweet spot of maybe 300 to 600 in that area.
Yes, I agree. And then I think another thing too is that if you do not audition for jobs that are $100, they won't send you jobs for $100. That's what I understand. And I don't audition for jobs for $100, so they don't send me a lot.
Yeah, it's funny. Voice 123 is completely revamping that whole platform that sent specific types of jobs. Like, the more you audition, the fewer jobs, the fewer.
Right, the SmartCast, from what I understand, they're about to make some changes with SmartCast.
Right.
There's been some rumblings about that, I understand.
Yeah, they announced it. The gentleman who's now the head of Voice 123 was at VO Atlanta,
right,
and on the panel discussion with all of the leadership of each of the major online casting sites, with the exception of Voices.com, who wasn't invited. He did mention specifically that they are completely changing their user interface, which is awesome because it was getting old. It was pretty dated. And I've actually had a chance to see the new user interface, and it's definitely a big improvement. And they're going to revamp SmartCast. They're going to get rid of SmartCast, which I think is awesome. Well, when I say get rid of SmartCast, they're still going to funnel jobs to people with the appropriate tags attached to their demos. So, you know, a woman's not going to get male jobs, and you know, young males aren't going to get jobs for senior males, that kind of stuff. But the whole process where they throttled you down and the more you auditioned, the fewer audition opportunities they sent to you, that's all going by the wayside, as I understand it. Reasonably soon. I kind of thought that they would have announced something by now.
I have a question, Graham.
Yeah.
Okay. Has anyone, this is to everyone, has anyone that is on Voice 123, have you noticed that you've been getting more, not necessarily agents, but clients reaching out to you for jobs that are not posted? And have you booked jobs that way? I noticed that. I'm noticing an uptick in that as well.
As I understand it, you know, Sandra, the more success that you have on Voice 123, the better rated you become, the higher you show up in searches. So when someone who's doing a casting goes and they're searching for someone with your voice type, they're going to show up progressively higher in searches, which I would think means that you would get more direct invites. You know, it's funny. I saw a real uptick in the number of direct invites I was getting up until about 3 or 4 months ago, and now it's kind of petered off again, and I can't quite explain why. But I had a period there where I was getting, you know, 4 or 5 direct invites a week. And relative, I don't know relative whether that's a lot or not. Maybe some people are getting 4 and 5 direct invites a day. I don't know.
4 or 5 a week is a lot.
4 or 5 direct invites a week, and now it's kind of petered off down to like a couple every couple of weeks now. So not quite sure what happened there. But those are great jobs because, you know, you're not one of 50 or one of 75 usually. You're one of maybe 10. And they already have a propensity to like your voice because they clearly picked you and picked your demo out of a number of demos that they listened to. So, you know, when you get those direct invites, hop right on them and get your response back as soon as possible because those are hot leads. Those are good ones.
Got another question, Graham. To Trey here.
Hey, Trey.
To you and the whole crowd. Has anyone done any demo work with Chuck Duran down in Hollywood?
Chuck did my commercial demo. He did my broadcast narration demo. And all I can tell you is they book. You know, he you know, Chuck has a very, you know, he works in a very specific way. His demos, you know, there's a certain sonic signature to Chuck's demos. Like people, when they hear a demo, can pretty much oh, that one, I know that one was Chuck Duran.
Really?
But they book. And I've had great success with my Duran demo. He's not cheap, but certainly I don't regret having spent the money I did with him. Anybody else here with a Chuck Duran demo? I guess not. Yeah, not cheap, but I certainly think it was worth the money that I invested in it.
Well, I think the perspective that the voiceover community has of spending money is often to their detriment, because it should be a return on investment kind of a view. It doesn't matter if it's 10 grand for a demo if you know if the payoff is worth 10 grand, and it's just plain simple business.
Yeah, certainly. My previous demo, I'm not going to say who it was that produced it, but a fairly well-known demo producer and coach. And when I started using my Chuck Duran demo, I booked far more frequently off my demo than I had previously. So again, as you say, Trey, the measure of success is, does it book better? And I think that Chuck's demo did book better for me.
Yep.
A question that came in through the Q&A box. Still a newbie, deciding my niche. How open is the market for TV promo work and radio imaging? Who's got some thoughts on that? TV promo work, radio imaging. I can tell you that I haven't done any radio imaging. I have done some TV promo work. It's not easy to break into either field. First of all, because the radio imaging business is a very tightly knit group, and most of the people who are doing a lot of radio imaging work came out of radio backgrounds. They were production directors at radio stations. Patricia's asking, can you describe radio imaging? Yeah, Patricia, radio imaging is all of the promotional stuff you hear on a radio station that's promoting the radio station itself or the promotions that it's running. So when you hear the promotion for the Ugly Christmas Sweater contest and you could win a trip for two to Jamaica. All of those things that, you know, Chum FM, you know, those things, that's what's called radio imaging. And TV promo is basically the same thing on TV. It's all of those commercials, and I put commercials in air quotes, for programming that is actually on the station itself. That's what TV promo and radio imaging is all about. Neither one of them are particularly easy to break into, but they can be quite lucrative once you do so. But the radio imaging people definitely tend to come from radio backgrounds. They used to be production directors at stations and stuff like that. Versus TV promos, which, you know, these people don't tend to come from, you know, TV announcer kind of backgrounds. You know, they do generally cast out of the larger voiceover community, but again, not easy to break into. You kind of need some success in some other genres first before it's going to be easy to kind of get your foot in the door of TV promo work. And if you do want to take a shot at TV promo work, perhaps local stuff first. Like every local TV affiliate generally has a local announcer that, you know, tees up the 6 o'clock newscast. You know, tonight, fire in Tonawanda claims 3 lives. Tune in tonight on Eyewitness News. You know, that kind of stuff. Those tend to be produced locally. But the big national stuff, it's tougher to break in.
I wanted to chime in here about. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I step on someone?
Go ahead, JD.
Okay, I just wanted to chime in about radio imaging. This past week, I believe it was, I took a class through the Global Voice Acting Academy with Gabrielle Nistico about radio imaging, and if you have a true interest, I think it will be available for purchase or to watch on the GVAA website, and it was very illuminating. She made it very accessible, very exciting, and you know, it's international, so there's a lot of opportunity if you're not afraid to, you know, reach out to the world at large.
So just to confirm, Gabby said that it is realistic to break into TV promo work if you're willing to go international. Is that basically
not TV promo, radio imaging.
Okay.
Yeah, radio imaging. TV promo, I think that's owned by Joe Cipriano.
Yeah.
No, there's lots of people doing TV promo. In fact, Joe's sound isn't really in vogue right now. They tend to be going with younger voices than
True.
Joe.
That's true.
You know, Joe's at a point in his career now where often the people looking for Joe are they like Joe because he almost does a parody of himself now. And you know, he was groundbreaking in the 80s and early 90s, but he's had to reinvent himself in the last little bit. And his sound for TV promos now is very different than it was, you know, even 10 years ago.
Well, he has ventured into teaching promo work now, so he knows how to keep his fingers on the pulse.
Yeah, he sure does. And he is very well, as you said, keep his finger on the pulse. He's very well connected in the business. And he's, sounds like you've met him in the past. He's one of the nicest guys in voiceovers.
I have.
Yeah. One of the nicest guys.
I was actually lucky enough to have dinner with him and his wife. Yeah, he's an amazing human being. I definitely liked that experience.
Yeah.
You know what? I do have a question that's a general question for everyone. I'm in the process of redoing my own personal website, and I'm a web designer from a previous life. However, I'm finding that I don't have time to do it. And Joe and Karen of voiceover websites are extremely busy. And right now, for myself, the price of admission is a little bit high. So does anyone have a recommendation for a reputable and talented voiceover website producer?
There's Kathy Servatka, and that's Sirvatka, and her first name Kathy, I think, is spelled with a K. And I'm trying to remember the name of her website, but she also specializes in doing websites specifically for voice actors. She's based out of the Chicago area, but deals with people anywhere. Joe and Karen at voiceactorwebsites.com did my site.
Yes.
So they're so busy now that they're having to turn business away.
I didn't say they were turning it away, but I just know for a fact that they are extremely busy. I've known many people, including yourself, who've had work done by them, and I talked to them at VO Atlanta.
Yeah.
And they are just very, very busy.
Yeah. They're anytime I need something, though, if I email Karen within 12 hours, whatever it is I asked for is done. Like, if they may be busy, but they seem to be staying on top of things. Doug, thank you so much.
Thank you, Doug.
Kathy Servatka. It's voiceoverwebdesign.com.
Excellent. Thank you.
Her prices were a little more competitive, I found, than Joe and Karen's. The thing about Kathy's, I didn't find it was, from a creative standpoint, it was quite as refined as Joe and Karen's. But if you have a pretty good idea what it is you're looking for, I think that she could do a great job for you.
Wonderful. I greatly appreciate it.
Asking ballpark, how much should you expect to pay for a website? My understanding, Kathy Servatka, I think things start at around $600 or $700 and can range upwards to maybe $1,000-ish. I think that Joe Davis at voiceactorwebsites.com is marginally more. I think maybe it starts at 750 or 800, and it can range up to 14 or 1500, depending.
Yeah, they advertise that they start at 7, but I know it can go much higher.
Yeah. So,
but they're definitely worth it.
So Sandra is just looking for, how much should I ballpark for it, and those are pretty good ballpark numbers, Sandra. Michael's asking, and I can't remember who it was. JD, was it you that was on the Gabriel Nistico?
Yes.
Michael's asking, international radio imaging. Do you contact the station in Prague or Aberdeen directly, or how do you go about these people?
That's one of the things that she said. You go out there, you find the stations, you listen to stations, and you contact them directly. You certainly can, because much of the much of the world speaks English.
Yeah.
So you can reach out to everyone everywhere, and you just have to, you have to have your demos in place, and your plan in place. And then absolutely, there's no reason you can't reach out directly.
Very cool. I certainly know that international sounds. So, there's a big call for American imaging voices on stations in Southern Asia, as an example, because they like that U.S. kind of, big radio sound. So I'm not surprised that international radio imaging is a pretty big and growing area. So listen, everybody, we're just coming up on 9 o'clock. I want to thank you all for your participation tonight. It was great to have you all here. So until next Sunday night, keep busy, keep auditioning, win lots of work, okay? Good night, everybody.
Oh, yeah. Goodbye.